There we go.
Ah, here we go. Hello. I doubt there's anyone out there live right now, but just in case, I wanted to introduce myself to you, and then I'll introduce you to our guest today. So the new BeARealBeauty.com actually launches this evening. So I'm pretty excited to launch it tonight with an interview with a sort of different kind of personal trainer. So we're going to talk a little bit about loving your body and taking a weight neutral approach to personal training. I'm really excited to have Gillian with us today and to hear a little bit more about her story. And you can look for her full bio in the comments below and a link to her website, or in the bio below or something like that. So, hello, Gillian.
Hello. That's exciting about your website. I can't wait to see it.
I'm so excited too.
Yeah.
So, because I probably butchered your bio, before I ask you what I've decided is going to be my first question for everyone that I interview. And I'm so excited to have you as our first interview. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So, yeah, my name is Gillian Byers. I'm an exercise trainer or personal trainer. And I help people. Strength training is kind of my main focus, especially outside of the gym. So ways to do exercise at home. Yeah, and helping people build strength in a way that feels really good to them, that works for their body. I love personalizing things, making them really unique to fit people. I really don't think we all fit in one box. And so helping people apply that. I love to do that. And also starting to kind of help people with that mindset shift of doing it to lose weight or to look a certain way instead of to feel good, to feel stronger, to grow confidence. That can be a big, tough shift because there's so much telling us otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been doing some more with kind of just coaching around that, just kind of helping people walk through that and learn to listen to themselves and how they really want to live their life.
Yeah.
And kind of work through that transition and give them that support. So
that's so awesome. And that's part of why I was so excited to have you as the first one, because you get this idea in your mind about what exercise is and what a personal trainer is. And I think you're doing really great work to kind of turn that on its head. So I've decided my first question, we'll jump more into that later as we go on, but I want to ask my first question in every interview I do in this series. What is it that what does real beauty mean for you? What makes it different than maybe what you see on TV, or what's real beauty look like to you?
Yeah, I was trying to think. I think it's very nuanced and broad, and I think it changes with time and has some depth to it. I actually was looking up the definition because I feel like this word gets thrown around a lot lately in all different contexts. And I really liked the second definition actually that I found online, and it said the qualities in a person or thing that give pleasure to the senses or the mind. And I love that idea of giving pleasure. And I think there's so many ways to give pleasure, and we usually go right to the aesthetic oftentimes. And I think that really needs to be broadened. People kind of have this very narrow view, and I think it really depends on the person. And I think the more we're exposed to different types of beauty, that can really be broadened.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some of us aren't as beautiful as others in an aesthetic way, and maybe that's okay. I think there's also this pressure of everyone's supposed to look a certain way, and it's kind of ridiculous. We don't expect everyone to be a good piano player. I mean, it's just like, so I feel like there's kind of this pull in both ways of let's broaden the definition, let's realize that everyone has their own beauty, but also there are aspects that some are going to have more than others, and maybe that's just fine. And I think as we relax into ourselves and who we are and nourishing ourselves, that's when we are able to bring pleasure to others in all levels. And I think we all can do that. And so that's a beauty that just brings pleasure on all levels in all different ways. I think, I don't know, it still feels a little intangible, but those are kind of some of my thoughts right now.
No, I love that. I love that idea of thinking of beauty as something that brings pleasure rather than, you know, an asymmetrical line between your forehead and your nose, or size 2, or yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that.
There's so many different things. I think what we think of when we think of a beautiful person, just, you know, asymmetrically or whatever, is very much a cultural construct. It depends on where you live and at what period in time.
Sure. Yeah. And there's so much more than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Plus, like, you're probably not, even if you do manage to get to be a size 2, if you're miserable the whole time you're doing it, you're probably not bringing anybody any pleasure, least of all yourself.
Exactly. Yes, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Or if you're stressing about it and you're not getting down, you're not bringing people, you know, you're going to bring people a lot more pleasure if you're just like, hey, I'm going to enjoy life. Yeah. Whatever size, and go from there.
So you talk about that in your bio, and I've seen it on your blog before too, about being a weight neutral personal trainer. Can you talk to us a little bit about what that means? Because I think it's a marriage we're not used to seeing. You know, we're used to personal trainers who want you to, who like, it's all about the getting down to that ideal weight.
Right, right. And that is oftentimes I tell people, I'm a personal trainer, and that's the first thing out of their mouth is they're talking about their weight. And I'm like, okay. But I get it. That's what, I mean, I'm sure that's probably what I thought in the past as well too. That was the goal with that. And what I found for me, and I'm learning for a lot of people, is it pulls us into these mind games when we're focusing on weight loss that are just so unhealthy and so draining and so distracting from life. And they drain us, and eating disorders are on the rise. It's not, I don't see it doing hardly anyone any good to have that focus. It can so easily get twisted. And so for me, weight neutral is just saying, I can let go of that. I can just focus on right now, what's going to help me feel good right now? What's going to help me enjoy life right now? Because really, that's all we have. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. And if we're always waiting for this certain thing to come or to look a certain way before we do this or wear this or whatever, we miss life. We really do. And so I love this idea of just saying, okay, I'm going to put weight on the side. I may or may not lose weight. I have clients that do, clients that don't. It doesn't matter anymore, because we're living life and we're feeling stronger and gaining confidence and able to do the things we want to do, as well as health and helping with longevity and all of that too. And so I find when you just kind of set weight on the side, it just helps clear the mental space so much.
Yeah. So on that, I mean, it's almost incredible how much space it frees up when you're just like, I'm not going to worry about my weight anymore.
It's huge, sadly.
Suddenly have hours of days and tons of mental space. And yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. It's become so pervasive for so many of us. Yeah.
So can you talk to us a little bit about how you got there? Because I mean, in some ways, I think we think of this like, oh, I'm going to do what I want, I don't care what I weigh thing, as kind of like the territory of 80-year-old women, like the rest of us. So talk to us about how you got there and how you had this epiphany.
Yeah, it's a process. It's still a process. But it was definitely a process of, you know, I definitely wanted to lose weight. I definitely lost weight. I regained weight, went through all of that. Knew there was some emotional eating going on, and said, okay, there's still something more. I need to dig deeper. Mm-hmm. So I kept looking and kept looking and kept trying different things, and it started feeling a little bit better. And then I finally came across HAES, which is Health at Every Size. And their basic idea is, well, maybe I should just read real quick their kind of outline on their page so I don't misquote anything. So their basic principles are respect, including respect for body diversity, compassionate self-care, eating in a flexible and attuned manner that values pleasure and honors internal cues of hunger, satiety, and appetite, finding the joy in moving one's body and being physically active, and critical awareness, challenges scientific and cultural assumptions and values body knowledge and people's lived experiences. And even that was a process. Like, I heard about it, it appealed to me, but there was still this, oh no, you know, what if I'm just giving up and throwing it all out and it's really wrong and it's really bad for my health and everything. And the thing is it's not giving up. It isn't giving up at all. It's just taking a different approach that is much healthier mentally for most of us. And the idea of, yeah, and then it was a process. It took following, like, my Facebook feed is now full of body positive people. And so it's a big switch. It really is. And it's hard because there's so much in the media and even from a health perspective pushing.
Yeah, so let me get you on record as a personal trainer about this, because I think this is what you're saying, but I'm going to get it on record. Are you saying that you can be just as healthy as a plus size, and I have to say that in quotations, person as you are at a size 2?
Yeah, what I think the big thing is you can't tell. Yeah. You really can't tell by the way someone looks how healthy they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There are super skinny people that are incredibly unhealthy. And both sides. And I love the other thing with HAES is the emphasis on health in a total perspective. There's mental health, there's emotional health, there's physical health, and they all have to come in balance. And sometimes life makes it hard to balance all of those. And so maybe for some people, they're not going to quite eat as healthy, but their mental health is better at that point. It's complex. We can't just, yeah.
Absolutely. So I heard you say one of the tenets is about food and pleasure. And so in all of these fitness things, which I was real big into the fitness things for so long, but I am a food writer. I love food. I love to cook. And you would hear the slogan in the fitness world all the time of, like, we eat to live, not live to eat. But I'm a Julia Childs type girl. I wake up in the morning thinking about what I'm making for dinner. And there's a difference between emotional eating, so eating to fill a space that's empty inside you, and the pure pleasure of a great meal, right? Yeah. So and to me, everything you eat should have pleasure involved in it, and it can be healthy and still be pleasurable. And I think we lose that entirely when we're trying to be a certain size rather than just eating because it's wonderful and beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And that's so healthy. I mean, it gets endorphins going. It gives you energy. I mean, it's just a whole other nuanced level of health that we're totally missing out when it's, yeah.
So I totally get that in food, and that because that's kind of my thing. Is the cooking thing. But what about, it sounds like moving your body is really your thing. And I am queen of the torture workout. Like, even when I'd given up on the dieting thing, I still was queen of the torture workout, right? I did Insanity, like, I don't know, 30 times. And it's called Insanity for a reason. It's gonna kill you. So sorry, Beachbody people out there. It isn't a fun way to move your body. So tell me about how you incorporate that idea of pleasure into the way you move your body.
Yeah. I think there are so many ways to move. And so to help people explore, what are you going to enjoy? What is going to bring you pleasure? Because there's this pervasive idea that you have to run a marathon or do Insanity in order for it to be exercise and be good for you, which is ridiculous. Marathons actually aren't that healthy for
I read about
better than not moving, but sorry, what was that?
I read something recently about this, that marathon running is actually not good for you at all for most people. It's actually bad for your body.
Yeah, I mean, I think, especially if someone's interested in it and they're not doing any exercise and they're doing this instead, it's it's a lot better. And I think there's a lot of things we might do that aren't, quote, good for our body, but if we're really enjoying them, they are good for us. So I have nothing against people who love running marathons. I think that's awesome. What I hate is this pervasiveness that is then the goal for everyone else. Everyone is supposed to run a marathon or a half marathon to get healthy. And it's ridiculous, because not only can there be variety, but it's a very repetitive movement in the exact same way. It's not really good for us. And most bodies, some bodies it can, be dangerous for, and all of that. And so to let go of that, though, is really hard, because there's so much pressure, like with insanity. And some people love insanity. It's fun for them, and that's great. But it's not for everyone, and that's okay. Going out and gardening, digging a ditch or something like that is seriously good exercise.
Yeah,
but no one find it is that.
The way that my body looked when I was doing insanity, I'm not gonna lie, my body looked great. Yeah. But who cares, because I didn't do anything with my life because I was so tired all the time. And I had to get up at 4 o'clock every morning and do insanity. So
is it really worth it? And that's part of it too, is getting rid of this all or nothing, or this I have to look a certain way, and making that the priority, like I was saying.
There's a wonderful man in my life that's refilling my wine glass since it's Friday night. I just want to point out that's a good man.
Very cool.
I'm recording this on a Friday evening, so
yes. Oh, yeah, like you were saying, to me, exercise is there to help you live a better life, to help you enjoy life more. And so if you're so sore that you can't move the next day and do what you want to do, what was the point? Again, you might look better. So there again is that whole level of, wait a minute, do we all have to look a certain way? Why is that all of a sudden the standard we all have to live up to? It's silly.
Well, is it really better? I know that like the TV will tell you that it's better, but for instance, I have a very, very good friend who's Latin, and he doesn't like skinny women. He likes super skinny women. He's like, I need the curves on a woman. So like for every body type, there is a person, whether you're straight or gay or trans or whatever you identify as, for every body type, there is a large group of people out there that loves your body type. Just because we're fed this one very narrow, white, straight, female, size 2, big boob perspective, that's only one very small perspective.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, we all decorate our houses differently. Why do we think our tastes are all the same when it comes to people, but not when it comes to how we assess beauty in any other way? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So if someone is looking to get off of the literal exercise hamster wheel, what are some early steps that you would, what are maybe 1 or 2 small little bites that they could do within 24 hours to kind of get them off the hamster wheel to start that process?
Yeah, I think it's going to really vary depending on the person and how disordered it has become, how extreme they have had it. Some people may need a total break. They may just need to say, okay, I'm going to let this go. For some people, that's way too scary as well. I'd say one of the biggest things is to try to find support, especially with Facebook. There's so many ways to start filling your brain with other stuff. Fit Fatties is actually an awesome Facebook group that people could look up.
That's a cute name.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's just full of people at all levels doing exercise without a weight loss focus, and they're just posting about it and sharing about it and asking questions. And it's just a real positive space that can help start that shift. And they will, I mean, people will jump on with great advice when someone's like, I don't like running. Do I have to run? No! So many other ways. I suppose another thing would be think back to what you enjoyed when you were a child. What was fun when you were a kid? How did you like moving then? And explore some of those again now. Go play with your kid on the playground, or go ride your bike, or go swing on the swings. Try to think a little bit outside the box of this typical fitness stuff, and just think, in what ways do I move my body naturally, and what might be fun to do more of. So yeah, and then of course reaching out to a personal trainer or something like that is always a good option too.
So if someone is looking for help in this area, you know, they're looking for a personal trainer like you, who's not going to be, you know, complaining to them about their diet or their weight loss all the time. How do they find someone like that? How do you know you're finding? Because I know most personal trainers still at this point don't take that approach. So how do they know they're going to be finding someone who has a healthier approach to personal training?
Right. It can be tough. Several ways. One, they can go to the Health at Every Size website, and there is a page on there of professionals. And so they can look on there and see if there's any in their area, if they want someone locally. I just joined a body positive personal trainer Facebook group, but I'm not sure if they actually have like a resource list up yet. I'll have to check that. But it is a growing group, slowly but surely. The other way is to just be upfront when you contact the personal trainer that you're local with and say, I do not want any of this. Are you willing to work with that? And there are some that aren't. There are some that definitely are and are fine with it. There are some who think they are, and then once you get in there, unfortunately, they don't know how to do that. So it may be a little trial and error. Stick up for yourself and just say, you know, I'm only going to do 1 or 2 sessions with you until I see if we're a good fit. And if they're not, you know, you can just let them know, this is not what I wanted. This is not healthy for me. I need to find someone else, which can be really hard for some of us to do, but to do that. And then, yeah, as you get on more of these forums too, as you search around on Facebook and stuff, you can often ask, does anyone know of someone in this area? And there's a few of us that are starting to do stuff online now too, so that you can live anywhere, which is helpful.
So you mean for people like me that live in a rural area, we can have a personal trainer online? How does that work?
Yeah, so what I do is I do stuff on Skype, kind of like we're doing right here. I can adjust my screen so that I can go back and you can see what I'm doing. You adjust your screen so I can watch what you're doing. And then we go through a training session at home with whatever equipment you have or don't have. We make it work. So
That's super neat.
Just need an internet connection.
Yeah, that's super neat. I think it takes away some of the intimidation factor too. I know a lot of women that are really intimidated to go into the gym to work out. So
yes, yeah. And there can be lots of reasons with the gym too. There's intimidation, there's the extra hassle of driving, there's kids, what do you do with them, stuff like that. So I love being able to offer it at home because the kids can be around, that's fine. I'm happy to meet your kids. And your pets. I love meeting people's pets, but yeah, and you can be just in the comfort of your home, and it transitions nicely. Yeah.
So can you talk to us a little bit about, we talked a little bit about food and we talked a little bit about exercise, and but how do you know, if you're not using weight as a litmus test, how do you know if you're doing enough exercise or you're eating healthy enough, or how do you measure that if you're not using your weight? Because I think so many of us are used to getting on the scale to determine whether or not we're healthy.
Yeah. So kind of 2 things there. One, the weight wasn't giving you an accurate picture anyway. So that kind of throws that out. And then I think it's a process. I think it's a journey of all of our life that we get to keep listening to our bodies and exploring what helps us feel better and better. I don't know that there's one prescription or specific standard that you can go off of. There are some things that can help. You know, we can do heart rate and see kind of what it's doing. There's obviously stuff like blood pressure and cholesterol and some of your basic medical tests to make sure you're getting those done, to see where those numbers are at, because that's a good sign. Okay, we might want to something's not working here. Otherwise, a lot of it is just continuing to assess what's going to make me feel good, what's going to give me more energy, and taking a bit of the pressure off, because I think that stress isn't healthy either. And so looking at it as a continual journey of continually, without pressure, finding ways to feel better and better, and experimenting with professionals like personal trainers or nutritionists that have a weight neutral approach that can help you say, hey, why don't you try this or try this, see if this helps you feel better. It's not as pat of an answer that we often like, but
wait, you mean there's not just a test that I can take to determine one test? That's
I know.
Even that.
I know. Yeah.
And so I think just, well, on that note, before I get to that one, so I know you do a lot of work from our talks before, that you do a lot of work with women who have particular chronic illnesses and things like that. Can you talk to us a little bit about that, and how, if you do have some type of a disorder or an illness, how that changes the way you want to approach your lifestyle?
Yeah, so that's been something I've been exploring lately. Yeah, I have a couple of friends with some chronic illnesses, and then I've just started a Facebook support group where people can just share, because it's just very different to have to really measure out. Energy management is a big thing, and I think for all of us, but especially with a chronic condition, it becomes incredibly in your face and crucial. And so with exercise, oftentimes, with any of us, I don't think it's healthy, but especially in the chronic conditions of this push, 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 push. And I think having a personal trainer that says, oh, okay, today's a bed day. Here are exercises you can do in bed because you don't have the energy to get up today, or today's not going to work. We're going to schedule it for another day. And just that kind of understanding of listening to your body and taking it slow and finding that balance of, because it seems to be consistent that it does help people feel better to do some exercise, but too much makes it flare and makes it worse. So it's a much finer balance with the chronic conditions, and much even more important. I think everyone should listen to their body, but even more important to tune into that.
Okay, so I just have to ask, there are exercises you can do in bed besides the most obvious one?
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, a lot of floor exercises, can be transferred to the bed. And there are ways to really back step exercises, which I find really fun to just work one-on-one with people. And if they say, okay, this hurts, I can show them a slightly different way to do it so that it feels good. So you start building kind of that trust with the body again, that this can feel good. And different stretches. So.
It's not supposed to hurt?
Yeah, no, it's not.
I thought no pain, no gain.
I know. No. I think there are some injuries, and with the help of a physical therapist, there are times. With a personal trainer, no, you should not be having pain. We do not have the knowledge, most of us, to guide you through something that actually hurts, because it's a very rare case that's actually helpful. Yep.
Okay, so I think that's a fair statement to pull out and emphasize, guys. When you are working out with a personal trainer, it should not hurt.
Yeah.
On that note, okay, so it shouldn't hurt while you were doing it. How do you feel about pain that happens after?
That's kind of nuanced. I think there are different kinds of pain. There's a general muscle soreness that is fine. If you personally want to avoid that, we can do our best to avoid that. But oftentimes, there will be some soreness afterwards, especially when starting a brand new activity. Like that first 1 or 2 times that you do it is usually when it can really sneak up on you. Once your body gets more used to it, you can push harder and harder and not get sore. But in the beginning, that often is going to happen some. But there's a big difference between some soreness and pain. So yeah, I'm sure it feels different for different people, and it can be a little harder to explain, and everyone has different tolerances. Some people love to feel sore after, some people don't.
Yeah, I get that. I like to know I did something.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a little bit of, you got to have a little bit of something the next day to know, but you don't, if you can't like sit down on the toilet, that's kind of that's too far, right?
Not so much fun. Yeah, it's really annoying. And again, that may happen sometimes when you're starting new activities. It's easy to overdo it at the beginning because you can actually feel like it's fine. So I often tell people, if you really don't want to be sore and this is a new activity, do way less than you even feel like doing until you see how you're going to feel tomorrow. But you might once in a while feel that sore, and that's okay. Certainly don't have to, but if you have that continuously, yeah, what's the point? I mean, then you can't live life because you can't move. That's not very helpful. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what it looks like if somebody is going to work with you, particularly if somebody, since most of us are probably not right where you are, particularly if someone wants to work with you online. What's that process going to look like to start? How do they contact you? How are they? How do you figure out what they need? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so they can email me, or I have a link. Actually, it may not quite be on my site yet. I'm trying to remember now. It does come if they sign up for my emails now, for like a 15-minute package discussion session kind of a thing where we can talk about their specific needs. I have a package on my website right now, but that's just because I needed to get something up there. I'm very fine with totally personalizing something for what someone's needs are, and they're going to really vary. So we can hop on the phone or Skype, for 15 or so minutes, and I'll just talk to you and have you share honestly with me where you're at, what you're wanting, what your schedule and your day looks like. And we'll come up with a package that is good for you. And then I'll send you a link and you'll sign up for a time, or we'll talk about it probably actually at that point. Set up a schedule, set up the times to meet. I'll send you a health questionnaire that will not ask your weight. But it'll get kind of a health history and an exercise history, so I know a little bit more. And yeah, I'll send you the payment link from there, and then we'll get started. So yeah,
so you just tell us what a mic and a video is?
What was that?
Can you tell us what your website is?
So my website is mindfully it's below too. Okay, yeah, mindfullyactive.com. So the mindfully part is, again, back to that whole listening to your own body. Yeah.
It's super exciting. I think we seem to have a movement. On the one hand, I'd say, the media is getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse about this idea about women's bodies. But on the other hand, I see this real backlash, and there's been this big movement, and maybe it's just because I've been more aware of women who are really leading that charge to, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We are pretty spectacular the way we are. I know I've been following a couple of former, hardcore personal trainers who have even made that transition.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's very cool to be able to stand and say, I'm okay exactly where I am right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's huge. It really is. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Really cool. So as we kind of wrap up here, what do you have something that you really feel like you want people to know, or that you really feel like is the core of where they need to get to, or what they should know as they start down this journey with you?
Just start listening to yourself more, listening to your body, and that can be really foreign. So I get that for some people. I mean, it can be just so like, what? I don't even know. I have on my website a full body feel good warm up that people can sign up for. And I actually kind of like starting there. I mean, I still love to do that every morning because it works through your whole body and helps you kind of notice areas you may not have noticed before. Notice where some stiffness is that you might not even realized was stiff because you don't typically move in that direction. It's a very gentle one that you can take at your own pace. And so I think that's one way to start, just kind of noticing your body. Every once in a while, go, wait, what are my feet are doing? How do they feel? How is my chest feeling? Is it tight? Is it relaxed? Oh, am I breathing? That's a big one. Catch that often. Okay, bigger. I mean, of course we're breathing, but it's this shallow breath. So to just kind of at least start, even if it's a very small step, maybe even once a day, to just kind of do a body scan of where is my body, how is it feeling, and then start to just notice what activities might I enjoy. If you're at the park or you're online or anything, just notice what movement you already do and what is already fun. I had someone say, oh, I hate exercise. And I said, but you do these little dance things to music for us. She's like, that's not exercise. Oh, yes, it is. Dancing is one of the best exercise I think out there. So yeah.
When exactly was it that it's funny because I wonder when exactly it was we stopped thinking of dance as exercise. I mean, people will go to Zumba class all day long, but someone dancing in your kitchen doesn't count as exercise.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think the other thing real quick would be starting to let go of all or nothing. I've got to do this big program. I've got to do 45 minutes in order for it to count. And really, even 30 seconds, I mean, it's nice if you can do more than that, but even 30 seconds of moving your body any way is going to start getting oxygen flowing and helping you feel better and helping you get in touch with your body again. So it can really be that simple to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. I have that 7-minute workout app on my phone. I'm like, if I can't do anything else today, I can always find 7 minutes.
Yep. And usually that's a good tester too. Like I'll find some days I'll feel so tired and it's like, how do I know if I really need a rest or if I need to move? Because sometimes that'll wake us up. If you start with those few minutes, your body will usually tell you, yep, I need to go back to bed. Or, oh, okay, this actually feels pretty good now that I'm up and doing it.
Absolutely. That's so cool. Well, Gillian, I just want to reiterate that website again, and I'm going to stop the broadcast. But if you will stand with me for a minute, we'll talk a minute offline after we're finished here. Do you have anything else you want to say before we go?
I guess just that I'm open to ideas. I have some online programs I'm working with. I've been doing coaching lately. I do the one-on-one training, and I'm experimenting with even a class on Google Hangouts. Not sure how that's going to work yet. But I'm very open to, ideas if you don't see something on your website that you think would be cool. Working on a planner too, like exercise journals.
Oh, neat.
All kinds of ideas.
I am a planner junkie.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys. So, wow, shiny, shiny, bright lights. So, thank you very much to Gillian for being with us. And I just want to remind you guys again, her website is mindfullyactive.com. And you should go and check out some of her blogs. They're pretty cool. And subscribe to her site. If you want to work with her, there's a place to do that there. And I really want to encourage you to take those first couple steps of really checking in with your body and saying, what is it that I need right now? Do I need to take a break? Do I need to just get into some movement that is less crazy? And remembering that dancing in your kitchen still counts as exercise. That's going to be my takeaway. So thank you very much. We'll be back with you next week. We're going to talk with some really incredible women as we launch this new Be a Real Beauty site. And if you want to join us on September 7th for the Be a Real Beauty 6-week challenge, you can go to bearealbeauty.com and sign up for the notifications for that. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'm going to figure out what the stop button is.